Hello viewers, I want to welcome you to Supreme Success online tutorials physics class. I'll be taking your physics this morning on the topic Introduction to Physics. Introduction to Physics. So the first thing we need to deal with is what is physics? What is physics? Physics is an aspect of science that deals with the study of nature and properties of matter and energy. We have many laws in physics. We have many theories in physics, just like your Hooke's law of elasticity, Newton's laws of motion, many laws. We have the radioactive decay law in physics. There is something that is common to all these laws. They are trying to measure one thing or the other. So in other words, we can say physics is a science of measuring physical quantities. Let's take your Robert Hooke's law, for example. Hooke's law of elasticity was trying to measure the effect of force with respect to extension. So what we do in physics is what? We measure. Measurements. And this word measurement, anytime you use it, it has to do with two things: the quantity and the unit. Let's take, for instance, you follow your dad to filling station, and when you want to instruct the filling station attendant on the fuel to sell into his vehicle, he asks him to sell 20 yards of fuel. 20, you had me right. 20 yards of fuel. Oh, you've never had something like that before. Okay, probably you could have had this. Your mom take you to market to go and buy layer cloth, Christmas cloth for you, and on getting to the woman that wants to sell the stuff, he has them to sell at 20 liters of cloth. That sounds absurd. So, units is very important in physics, so also quantity is important. What is awkward in this is that the unit attached to fuel is wrong, and the unit attached to liter is wrong. Liters is for fuel, while yards is for cloth. So in physics, we have different quantities, and we have their associated SI units to it. So it's very important at this stage as a mathematics student, you know all the quantities and their respective units. There are two quantities. We have categorized quantities in physics into basically two ways. We have the fundamental and we have the derived. If you look at the fundamental means foundational, the basis. So fundamental quantities are the basic quantities from which other quantities are derived. And if you look at the word derive means you obtain something. So derived quantities are quantities that are obtained from the fundamental quantities. So we have basically 7 fundamental quantities in physics. You must know them. Fundamental quantity. You must know their SI unit. And you must know the symbol of the SI unit. The first one here, we have mass. We use M to represent mass. The unit is kilogram, not gram. Kilogram. The symbol is kg. We have length. Capital L. It's measured in meter. You use M. We have time. We use T to represent that, measured in seconds. You have S. We have temperature. Temperature is measured in Kelvin. And you put K there. We have current. That is measured in ampere. You use capital A as the symbol. We have luminous intensity. Luminous intensity that is smeared in candela. We have CD as the symbol. And the last one, we have the amount of substance. We use mole to be the SI unit, and the symbol is MOL. Let's proceed to derived quantities. Derived quantity. Then you need the formula. Then you need the SI unit. You will see how we derive the unit for various derived quantities. Let's start from the smallest, area. The formula from area is length times breadth. The unit of length is meter. The unit of breadth is also meter. So this is what meter square. We use capital A to represent area. The next one is, let's go to density to save our time. Density, we use rho to represent density. What's the formula for density? Mass over volume. Now you have mass over volume. Mass is kilogram. Volume is meter cube. That's the SI unit of volume. Then the unit of density is kilogram per meter cube. It's very important to know how we are deriving units for different quantities. Like the name you are bearing, your father, they have a way they derive name in your family that made them to give you the name. So these formulas, we don't just look at them and give them. There are ways we derive formulas for different quantities. And let's still move forward. Let's go to force. What is the formula for force? We use capital F to represent force. What is the formula? We say mass times acceleration. But you should have known acceleration before now. So let me take a reverse and give you velocity first. Velocity. We have velocity is given by distance over time, or displacement over time. So you have it as your S. Distance is measured in meter. Time is measured in seconds. So the unit of velocity is meters per seconds. You have your acceleration. Acceleration is given by velocity over time. So you have it as velocity is meters per seconds. Your time is seconds. If this seconds goes up, it becomes -1. -1 become -2. So you have your force now. Force is given by mass times acceleration. So once you have your mass, you know mass is kilogram, acceleration is meter per second square. So force unit is kilogram meter per second square. The person that gave us this formula, derived the formula for force for us, is called Isaac Newton. So we name this expression to equals to Newton. So this expression equals to Newton. That is why we can say the unit of force is Newton. 1 Newton is equivalent to what? Kilogram meters per second square. Like we have some universities that is very Ogun State University, they now name it after Moshood Abiola University, or Ogun State Polytechnic, they now name it after Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, because we don't want to forget the name. Because we don't want to forget Isaac Newton in physics, when the scientists now say this kilogram meters per second square should equivalent to what? Newton. So I'm going to leave the rest for you as an assignment. You are going to have energy, give me the formula, and derive the unit for me. Then I'm giving you prayer also, give me the formula, and derive the unit. Make sure you walk through this. Don't just go and spy textbook and write it out. Make sure you pass through it, you understand it. Then let me give you momentum also. Momentum, you give me the formula, let me add to it impulse. Yeah, let me now give you surface tension. Surface tension. So all this, you just try to give me the formula and derive the SI unit. Then the next thing you need to know is that all these units, we have what we call submultiples of units, and we have multiples of units. So let me quickly take you through that. Multiples and submultiples of units. We have, let me say, we have prefix And we have the factor. We have the factor. We have, let me start from submultiple here, submultiple. Then let's now go to the multiple. Let's have the prefix. And let's have the factor. So here we have what I call multiples and submultiples of units. You know, like in some states, they use Congo to measure Gary. Some use what they call Kobiowu to measure Gary. We have different multiples, but the basic unit of measuring Gary is 1 milk cup. And Yoruba, they call it agolomik. That's the least unit of measuring Gary. So in your Congo, in Oyo State, they have like 10 cups of milk inside it. In Kwara State, we have 8 cups of the milk in our delica. So these are what we call multiples and submultiples of units. So let's take the first one. When you have a prefix called deca. Deca means times 10. Submultiple called deca. The factor is 10 raised to power 1. In multiple, we have deca. We have deca. So deca, we are going to have 10 raised to power. This is 10 raised to power minus 1, and this is 10 raised to power 1. Then after that, we have centi. Centi is a factor that means times 10 raised to power minus 2. And we have hecto. Hecto means 10 raised to power 2. We have milli. Centi is from century. Milli is from millennium. It means times 10 raised to power minus 3. So we have it as kilo here in our multiple. That's 10 raised to power 3. We have micro. That's times 10 raised to power minus 6. And we have mega here, which is what? Times 10 raised to power 6. And so on and so forth. So you are going to tell me what is the next one? Times 10 raised to power 9. What's the name? Times 10 raised to power minus 12. What's the name? Give me also this one. Times 10 raised to power 9. What's the name? Times 10 raised to power 12. What is the name? So the next thing is that how do you use this? You use this in conversion. In physics, let's say for instance, you are given that a boy jumped from a height 10 centimeter high. You must be able to convert this 10 centimeter to the SI unit form, which is meter. So this centi simply means what? 10. This C means what? Times 10 raised to power minus 2. Then you put N. This times 10 raised to power minus 2 is C. So like this, you have succeeded in converting 10 centimeter to meter. Let's still move on forward. If you are given 20 centimeter square, how do you convert this? You need to convert it to 20 meter square. That's times, I've told you that your centi means what? Times 10 raised to power minus 3. Times 10 raised to power minus 2. Because the unit is square, you are going to square it here. Then you have 20 times 10 raised to power minus 4 meter squared. Let's say, for instance, they give you that a wire has a diameter of 0.2 millimeter. How do you convert this? You can pause the video and quickly do that. Now, welcome back. So you have 0.2 millimeter, you want to convert it, that's 0.2. This milliliter, it means what? Times 10 raised to power minus 3. Just say times 10 raised to power minus 3 meters. You have succeeded converting that. If you are given a volume of an object to be like, let's say 20 millimeter cube, how do you convert this? You just say what? You say 20 times 10 raised to power minus 3. This guy is cube. Also introduce the cube here. Cube, meter cube. You've succeeded in your conversion from the submultiples to the standard multiple that we use. So that's that. Then there are some other conversions that you are going to be joining two different quantities together. Let's say, for instance, you are given velocity. Now, velocity is here. You have the velocity of 60 kilometers per hour. Your kilometer is for distance. Your hour is for time. It's straightforward. This per means divided. So just say this equals to 60 kilometers over hour. Then your kilo, what does that mean on your table? Your kilo means what? 10 raised to power 3. That's 60 times 10 raised to power 3. Then you put your meter there. In your hour, you've been singing the song from your kindergarten to primary school. That's 60 seconds make 1 minute. 60 minutes make 1 hour. That is, you need 260 to equivalent to an hour. So 60 times 60. So one of these 60 takes care of this. So then you are going to have 1 over 60 times 10 raised to power 3 meter per second. You have succeeded converting from, maybe you have been given a multiple or submultiple to the SI unit. And the only thing I've not touched in your conversion is your kilogram. Let's say, for instance, you are given the mass of an object is 0.05 gram. And you want to convert it to SI unit. You know what? You want to, this is gram. There is no kilogram there. You want to introduce kilo into it. So you are going to have 0.05 times 10 raised to power minus 3. You now put K, gram. Now, what does this K mean? K means times 10 raised to power 3. This minus 3 times 10 raised to power 3 will nullify each other. Then you have this back. So you can now finalize your conversion to be 0.05 times 10 raised to power minus 3 kilogram. So you succeeded in taking your mass from gram to kilogram. So with this, you have learned that what physics means in the class today. You've been able to understand that physics has to do with measurement. And measurement has to do with two things, quantity and unit. You've learned that every quantity has an associated unit. Then you have also learned different multiples and submultiples of unit. And you've learned how to convert from one form of unit to another form of unit. Thank you for watching. See you in the next class.